Hi, my goal is to share 3 more quick tips with you to try to help you reduce the workflow and the amount of time that you're spending managing Gmail these days. So let's get started. So I'm in my Gmail page, and what I want to do is adjust one of the settings so I have some more send options. So I'm going to come over here to the settings gear. I'm going to click on that settings gear on the right hand side of my page, and I'm going to click into settings. That is hopefully going to quickly load, depending on the speed of the internet right now. There we go. My settings, and I'm going to stay in this general tab that's highlighted, and I'm going to go down and I'm going to look for send and archive. So I'm actually just going to roll the page up a little bit more so we can see that here. I'm looking for send and archive. So this is a relatively new option, or at least it's new to me. I only found it 2 weeks ago. And what it does is it provides me with the option, instead of just hitting send on an email, I can hit send and archive, which basically takes the email out of my inbox. So I'm not left with all of these emails in my inbox or things that I have to go back to and delete later. Gmail has some intuitive software that kind of picks up where in the email train you are and when to suggest that you might want to send an archive. And at the bottom of your message, you will get an option to have send or send an archive if that is an option Google has determined you might want. So try it out. All you have to do that is click show, send an archive button in reply, scroll down to the bottom of your page here, and click on the save changes. What that quickly looks like in an email, I'll just show you using one of mine, is I'm in an email chain with Mike in regards to a question I asked him the other day. So I'm going to click that open. And when I go down here and I go to reply to Mike, what you'll see in my email comes up this option of send, which is what we would typically have, but also this send and archive button. So when I reply back to Mike in this case, I know it should be the end of our email. I got what I needed from him. I've closed off our communication or our conversation, and I don't need this in my email box anymore. So I will hit send and archive at that time. The second quick tip that you might want to know is that beside your send button, there is actually a drop-down box which provides you with an option to schedule when your email gets sent. So I always think about this when like it's 10 o'clock at night and I think I have to do that email now or I'm going to forget. But I don't necessarily want to hit send because it's 10 p.m. at night or it's the weekend and I don't necessarily want to send things outside of some work hours sometimes. Maybe I'm answering a student back and it's late at night and I just want them to get the answer in the morning as opposed to it popping up when I'm actually up doing it. So if I click that schedule send, it does come up with a couple of options at things I might want, but I can also pick a day and time to send that. And then I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to go back to draft. I don't have to write a note beside myself. I can just type that email away, click schedule send, and off it goes. The last trick I have for you, making sure I have enough time here on my video, is lots of times emails have lots of responses back and forth. And they can get in your inbox. And if you've read the email first off and you got what you need from it and you don't necessarily need to be a part of the email chain conversation, it still shows up in your inbox. But there is a way for you to kind of mute that conversation if that's an option that you want. So I'm just going to use this one for an example. The grades tab in Google Classroom. I have read that. There are still people responding to it, but I don't want to necessarily follow that conversation anymore. So I'm going to click up here on the 3 dots after I open the email, and I'm going to click mute. And what that does is basically it just takes the email out of my conversations again. I can still access it. If I go and search Brittany, what I will find is I can still get access to that email, but it's not going to keep showing up in my inbox with all of the replies too. So depending on if I need to have access to it or if I'm kind of done with the conversation thread, that mute gives me those options. So I hope those things help improve the workflow. Try them out. Let me know. I'm curious to find out.